Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X, and today we are going to talk about, guess what, more spoilers! There's gonna be other stuff on this channel, I swear. We're gonna get some more One Piece games up. Yeah, like, the spoilers are coming faster than they've ever come before because the date squish, and so this is just gonna have to be something that we get used to. But today we got a secret rare spoiled, and then I believe next week we're gonna really, or later, in this week, we're gonna start getting into the rest of the archetypes. So for now, let's talk about this secret rare. And yeah, I do want to say, hey, if you haven't already, go over to the official Dragon Ball Super card game group on Facebook and give it a like, give it a follow, because this is where I'm getting these spoilers from myself. So if you want to be hip as soon as possible, that's where to be. After that, you can go over to the unofficial discussion group as well as the unofficial Reddit, because more discussion happens there. But then you can also join the Universe X Discord. Links to all those will be in the description, so you can talk about these games as well as other games. Like, really, I mean, One Piece, Digimon, My Hero, like just video games too. It's all gonna be there. So yeah. And then lastly, if you want to support the UniX brand, the Universe X brand, you just need to go down there, click that subscribe button, like the video, comment on the video, let it circulate, help it trend in the algorithm, or check out one of my other sites, things. Yeah. When this video goes up, I'm going to have multiple videos on my UniX DB channel because most of the Dragon Ball games are releasing a just crap ton of Dragon Ball Super superhero content, so we should have some videos up. Links will be in the description on those too. Now, without further ado, let's get into this secret rare and let's talk about it. So let's get in there, mate. You got a Evil Saiyan Malice Made Flash. Okay, now for most of you guys that have been paying attention to heroes, you will know this as Cumber, but it is classified as Evil Saiyan, and the reason why it is Evil Saiyan is because at this point in the heroes like anime, he did not have a name. He did not actually have a name until he broke out of his bindings. At first, he was just Evil Saiyan. He was an Evil Saiyan trapped away by Fu. So anywho, you got the Evil Saiyan Malice Made Flesh Ultimate. Auto, if your opponent's life is at 2 or more, when this card is played, look at your opponent's life and send up to 1 card with an energy cost of 7 or less from your opponent's warp. And your opponent shuffles their life and then play up to 1 battle card with energy cost of 7 or less from your opponent's warp in your battle area with its skills negated for the game. Okay. Then auto, once per turn, when your opponent plays a battle card with energy cost of 7 or less, you may send 1 of your battle cards to its owner's warp. If you do, gain control of that played card. Okay. Then activate main, black, if your opponent has 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand or warp and choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier and send it to the owner's warp. Okay, so here is what we're doing here. There's a whole lot to kind of sink in and kind of like just think about. 1, it's got no deflect, no barrier. So you have to understand that this will be open to quite a few things. Against red, if they have their 3-drop unison up, this is not safe to play. Against blue, you have to understand you could be paying 2 energy for a god ceiling, but it looks like blue's kind of moving away from unisons right now. The point is though, this guy needs to be played correctly or he will be played into bad things. Next, since he doesn't have barrier or deflect, he's open to a lot of things. Like even against yellow, Evolved Defender will activate and have this guy be tapped and negated. So this is going to be something that you really have to be careful about. His effects are monstrous, but with the right cards on field, your opponent can shut this guy down completely. So with that being said, the first auto, if your opponent's life is at 2 or more, is very interesting. The fact that you get to look through their life, see what's in their life, and kill something with an energy cost of 7 or less is great. If there's secret rares in there, you can't touch it, but at least you know it's in there. You can also get rid of something like a negate, a floodgate, anything in their life that's going to make it harder for you to take that life down. And it's also information because you're going to know what cards they could be getting, not in the order, but what cards they could be getting when you start damaging them more. And then if you hit them with crit, every single time you see something with crit combined with this guy, you're going to be able to know exactly what's left in their life, and that is a huge amount of information. That's very, very subtle, but that's a huge amount of information. Now, when you get to play up to 1 battle card with energy cost of 7 or less from your opponent's warp, this is also big, simply because you're only getting a beat stick, and that's not that impressive, but most black decks revolve around warp. So if you want to bring out some 30k beat stick. I mean, there aren't a lot of 8 or 7 drop 30ks, normally they're 8 drops, so it really depends, but you can bring out some pretty cool stuff with this and be able to swing with a thick vanilla. Now, the next auto, when your opponent plays a battle card and energy cost of 7 or less, you may send one of your battle cards to the owner's warp if you do gain control of the battle card, that player's card. That's actually pretty cool. So you'll be able just to warp things and then just be like, okay, cool, and just take their thing as long as it's not a secret rare, because once again, most secret rares are 8 cost or higher. So this is a very, very powerful once per turn effect, but because it does not have, once again, deflect or barrier, green, red will be able to neg it a couple times, green will be able to do these things, blue will be able to bounce over certain cards, black will warp it, and yellow will tap it and destroy it. So this guy really is all risk, all reward. He's doing a whole bunch of things, but he's also going to be very vulnerable. Now the cool thing is though, activate main. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand or warp. This is one of the biggest things about this, because I've been waiting for a black SCR to be played from warp from a long time, and even better, it's a Saiyan. When he comes out, he's going to be removal through barrier. That's also very, very important. So this guy's going to remove some high premium threat while being able to do all the things he's doing. Now, what does this mean, okay? I would say there's a couple of things that this could get into, and we're gonna just go down the list real quick. So the couple of things I want to go over is, first and foremost, this SCR is very, very definitive to black, and I know that we've had Pan, I know that we've had Kai, but those are general. This is one of the first ones, and I know there's Supreme Kai Brainwash, but this is one of the first ones that is, you know, just specifically black. I think there's only 2, like black specified cost, but more importantly, this is the first secret rare that can be played from warp, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I am, but I just wanted to leave that little clause in there. Now, the reason why this is super important is because lots of black decks deal with Overwhelm. To deal with Overwhelm, you're going to have to flood your grave. If you're flooding your grave or your drop, you then do need to work on how you're going to get from point A to point B when it comes to your graveyard flooding, followed by your, you know, Overwhelm effects happening, followed by you replenishing your drop, whether that be from recycling cards from your warp or putting more cards from your hand or deck to the drop. Now, most of the time, the issue with running through your deck via mill cards like Majin Buu's Human Extermination Attack, which mills 4, or some battle cards that mill for you, or you know, Crimson Strike, the Realm of the Gods card that mills 3 on defense. The issue with those is that you always ran into the scared part about, if you don't have your secret rare in hand, what if you drop it? You know, your negates, your super combos, your secret rares, and for a long time in black, it was always kind of, it is what it is. If you top 5 Gogeta Zeno and you happen to remove your Pan, oops, it sucks to be you, but it happens. This is the first one that doesn't matter where you put it. If you put it into, if you draw it into your hand, he's there, he's alive. If he goes to your warp off the top of your deck, he's still alive. If he goes to your drop and you can overwhelm it, and then he's live again. This guy can only be stuck in your life. That is the only way you cannot have access to him, is if he's stuck in your life. And because of this, this means this is a secret rare that black will see every single game. Every single game, without fail. And that's actually a very, very cool idea. The ability for this guy to be live no matter where you play it. That's monumental. So this is the first secret rare that black is going to have that sort of economy with. No matter how you see it, it's usable. That being said, there's a lot of trade-off for it being a generic, well, a black leader that can be played from anything. I think its accessibility is why it doesn't have the protection that most others have. And it is wild that this is a 40k, but you want him to sit on the field more than anything. You don't want to really start attacking without making him vulnerable to being swung on or other things. Now, if you guys want to know more about his effect, slight Heroes lesson. This guy in the Heroes anime, he was being used by Fu to taint other villains. Like other villains that had no reason to kind of fight, they would be tainted by Cumber's Dark Sand energy, which would make them evil and bloodthirsty, and then they would fight on Fu's battle planet, jail planet, I think it's like prison planet, there we go, prison planet. And that was actually why he was being used. He's like a giant negative energy battery. So it's really cute that he's able to warp something from your side of the field and take something of theirs once per turn, because all that is doing lore wise is infecting people with his dark energy so that they fight on his side, as that's exactly what Fu is using him for. So once again, if anything, Bandai is always going to be flavorful. That's just what they like to do. Now when it comes to individual decks, decks like Supreme Kai of Time, she can definitely use this. Any black deck can use this. I'm still kind of thinking that Supreme Kai of Time, I still like Pan better. I think with her, there's a lot of times where you could just be making sure Pan gets in your hand. But the one that really stands out to me when it comes to this is Trunks, Super Saiyan God Trunks. He's already a very black Saiyan-centric leader, and there's so many things you can do. You can remove a black card to draw 2 cards. You never have to worry about pitching this card. Yes, your opponent can now see it coming, but in a pinch, you can use this card to get it removed and then do that. The other cool thing about it is that he can count towards 5 Saiyans in your warp. This is just a perfect piece for Trunks. Whether you are warping it off the top of the deck with Supreme Kai Unison if you want to use it, whether you are using your leader effect to warp it and draw, whether you're warping it and searching, there's so many ways you can get this guy. I mean, at its very base, you could literally drop this card from your hand as a combo for 10k and then warp it with Overwhelm and then play it from your, like, this guy is mileage, and I am really scared about playing a Secret that has no deflect or barrier. But as far as Secret Rares go without deflect or barrier, this guy is pretty lit. This guy has a lot of cool effects and it can be used almost anywhere. So I definitely think this is a massive buff to Super Saiyan God Trunks. Just because he's going to utilize this. He's going to push this from zone to zone. He's going to get it in, and then he's going to be able to use this from zone to zone. Fits right in. Played just like some of his boss cards. So with that being said, I am going to relook over Super Saiyan God. I'll revisit that deck, Trunks, to see kind of what it do. But I am very, very, very happy to see a card like this in the game. And I think that's kind of a wrap. Like, this kind of lets us know. Them spoiling Cumber first really kind of lets us know what we're doing. Like, the pack has Gohan and Piccolo on the front of it. There's a Piccolo leader. There's a Gohan leader. There's like, we saw on the Banner TCG Plus site, there's Magenta as the pre-release. This is a superhero set. So I was already sure that with Gohan in blue, we're getting a Beast Gohan related card, whether it be his boss card or the secret rare. But if we get the Beast Gohan as a secret rare, you also know who's coming up beside him. There's just no way. With Magenta in here, like, there's no way we're not seeing the villain of the movie, the main boss of the movie, in this set. And so for me, my only question was, who's the third? I almost was putting money down that Gohan Beast would be in here, and I still have my fingers crossed with Gohan being an archetype and this being a superhero set. But you move forward from that, and I'm like, if they bring in Gohan Beast, would they not bring in Cell Max? That's still for speculation. But in my mind, Gohan Beast and Cell Max were shoo-ins, so it was more of who is the third. And now they've shown us the third, so I'm pretty certain that, we're gonna get what's like implied. I think the set implies it. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. This is just a video going in on Cumber. Wanted to talk about its uses, its effects. This is very, like I said, high risk, high reward. It's gonna be very weird to see how it plays until we get into the format. Red won't be able to kill it immediately, but green will smoke it off the board immediately. So we'll see about it. That being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys the next time you decide to join Universe X. Like I said, you can always subscribe to the channel to help support the brand. We are growing at an exponential rate, but you can also go and check out my other channels, and there's just gonna be lots of content. Speaking of Dragon Ball Super, like I said, I can't say like I said any more times. I'm sorry, I'll cut the video here. Peace. But also go watch my other channel.